I want you to imagine, it's going to be hard for you guys because you're not women, but sitting in your gyno office, completely naked, when your midwife tells you, hey, hurry and put your clothes back on.
Hurry. What is the hurry part?
Hurry. Well,
they give a tour of the doctor's office.
You're in the wrong room. So, sorry. No, so what had happened was I went.
You?
Yeah, it was me. It happened to me. And I was
And the midwife
ashamed.
is the gynecologist? Or
Well, she's my midwife, but also is my gynecologist. Yes,
So
I
she's
see
a
her.
doctor?
Yeah, she's my midwife.
Okay.
Certified nurse midwife. So I can go to her. And I've been going to her forever and ever. Love her. And so I, get undressed ready for my annual exam. And I don't know why you do this, but we fold our clothes and hide our underwear in the pockets of our jeans, even though I'm about to expose all that God has given me.
Right.
And she's seen it a million times, but for some reason, and then I've also just seen my own naked body under the fluorescent lights. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not
So
friendly lights.
It's not,
No.
it's not, and it's full body. So then I'm just like, God. So I put the little robe on with your butt exposed in the back, and I'm just sitting there, and I have the paper across my knees. This is what it's like in the gyno office, you
Okay.
guys.
No, I can picture it now.
And I'm sitting and I'm waiting and I'm like, my butt's getting a little cold. It's just a little chilly. And, it's not that it's ever painful to go to the gynecologist, but it's always like, okay, let's just get
This is
this
not a
over
fun
with.
visit.
Let's just get this over with. Yeah. And so my gynecologist comes in and she said, looking at your chart, you haven't had a mammogram in a while. And I said, well, yeah, I've only had the one. And she goes, well, it's time for another. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just call and schedule that. Next thing I know, she pulls out her walkie-talkie and immediately is talking to down at the lab where they do the mammograms. And she goes, do you have time for right now? Can you fit her in right? Okay, go ahead and get dressed. Hurry up.
Jeez.
Okay, I haven't even had my exam yet, So I'm just sitting naked waiting and then anticipating the exam when I get told to put my clothes back on.
That's odd.
So put my clothes back on, take my underwear out of my pocket, put my underwear back on, walk all the way down the hall, where then I proceed to take my clothes off again.
Well, your top. They don't do mammograms on the bottom,
no,
do they?
just my top. Just my top.
Katie asked to be totally nude. She feels more comfortable.
Full body scan.
Please put your butt cheeks in the machine, man.
Please for fun.
You think it hurts when they squeeze your boobs. Wait till they squeeze your butt. So then I take my top off again. And as I am in it's a very interesting machine, and the way that you have to put your arms, and then it's a flat X-ray. It's not a board, but it's like it's a table kind of.
Yeah.
But it's an X-ray machine. So, and it twists and it turns. So you have to, with your breast exposed.
And this is your second one?
This is my second.
Well, I thought.
Well, I have a history of breast cancer.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
So I like to have them.
I understand.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
And so you take your, it's not a towel, but your gown, and you flip it over one side. I feel very uncomfortable telling you guys this because you're all staring at me.
Don't worry, we can't see anything.
Just listen. Don't picture it. Just listen. So you flip the gown over to the side, and then you put your arm up on one part of the machine, then you put your arm up on the other, and the machine, they kind of tuck. The tech, or she tucks and she moves and she shoves my stomach down and then lifts my boob up. And then all of a sudden they're like, hold your breath. And then, of course, that's when I have to breathe the most.
Yeah, right.
Is when I'm holding my breath. I'm like, how long's this gonna be? And then takes the picture, and then she comes over, and halfway through, she's the nicest lady ever. She goes, hey, you're Katie from Jared and Katie, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
What would you like to know?
That's it. And then switches my boob to the other side. She goes, I've been meaning to ask you, we're old friends,
Yeah.
She's like, but it's so nice.
You're
I felt
topless.
like we were. I'm topless.
I know it's a medical thing, but it's very awkward.
Well, it's just you never know what you're gonna do when you're
I'd
naked.
rather not know that they know who I am.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, we're all women, so it's okay.
Well, like when Jason was being wanted because he had severe ED.
Yes. But that was by a woman.
At Wave Tech, but even worse.
Yeah, that's
And,
why.
and then they're a listener and they're looking at how small his unit is. 'Cause that's what he said.
Right.
I mean, that's gotta be. I mean,
First
I don't
of
know.
all, Jared,
I
that's
don't know
out
how
of
you get out of bed
context.
in the morning.
Sorry. That was not true, but sorry, Katie.
Well, I did start with a disclaimer. I think that's the best thing you can do.
Yes.
Is just because, in the off chance that maybe they do know, you say things like, Well, I have really small boobs. Just I said it first.
Well, they'll see
So-
that right away.
Yeah, but at least I acknowledge it.
Oh, I
Not
see.
like anybody could be talking behind my back.
Right.
I said it first.
Like
She's
I
like,
know.
yeah. She said,
Well, that's
You're
why
fine.
I said I'm shriveled because it's cold in here.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. Yes.
Now, Katie,
You put the disclaimer out. Yeah.
question for you. So,
Yes.
did you get your results back?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
But they're coming.
I see. And this is your first results were fine.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I had to go back to have sometimes with your first one, the results can be a little because we don't have anything to compare it to yet.
Oh, that happened to you?
So that happened to me.
Because that's just what just happened to my wife. They sent she had her mammogram.
Yeah.
And they said, "Ooh, we're gonna have to retest this. There could be something wrong." It was almost like there could be something wrong.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What do you think about this note?" And I wrote back saying, "Oh my gosh, I would be worried."
Why would Carol show that to you?
Why
Yeah.
would she show that to
You're gonna
you?
be the
Does she know who you are?
cooler head of the two?
Jeez.
What am I gonna lie?
No,
No,
but
you overreact to everything.
yeah.
No, I wasn't overreacting. If that exact thing
dramatic.
happened to me,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and be like, "Oh, it's probably nothing," when it could be.
Uh-huh.
But you're
You
like, oh my God, this is the worst.
I did.
I don't know what they were.
She says, "What do you think of this?"
Uh-huh.
And I said, "That would make me very worried." When I saw the note, and she's like, "Great, that's not helping," and I'm like,
Our point.
"Then
Our whole
don't
point.
ask."
Yeah.
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's what I'm
not
saying.
gonna
Why
lie.
would she ask?
'Cause
Like, there's certain things. I'm not saying you're being dishonest. You might be being more honest in some instances.
Yes.
But there's some things I don't even want to tell you because I'm like, he's gonna make me feel more anxious about
Yeah, I
it.
don't want to
Well,
hear.
it's just that if she wants the truth, well, you know what she can do? She can always come to me for the truth.
There,
Yeah,
Does
that's
this
true.
dress make me look fat? Yes.
For example.
Right. So
But
she
it did happen to me, and
Yeah.
we just talked about it again at this one because we were talking about how I had my first mammogram, and that because we don't have anything to compare it to, sometimes the way that the squishy squish happens, that it can kind of not be distorted, but
hard to see, right?
it's a little bit
It's
hard to see.
if there's
So then you go back in, and then you have a reshoot or a re-X-ray,
Right.
and then that's when and everything was fine.
Well, she did the re-mammogram.
Yeah.
I think she had to use it. Wasn't a mammogram. What's it called when you do the baby with the stomach?
Like
Ultrasound.
Ultrasound,
She had
yeah.
to get an ultrasound
Okay.
on it, and it still said, "Okay, things look okay." Because what it was, from what we think,
Uh-huh.
and you don't have to worry about this, but when she got breast implants,
Yeah, I don't
the
have 'em.
breast implants, they're doing surgery, so
Yeah.
it messed with
Oh,
the
yeah.
tissue,
Scar
and
tissue.
it was
Yeah.
different tissue, and there was
Uh-huh.
nothing to compare it to.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that made me feel a lot better when she was like, it could, when I looked it up, and it could have to do with breast implants. In your case, Katie, that's scary because you didn't have it.
Well, right, and not because of breast implants, but because I had never had one before. We couldn't go back and say, "Oh, your boobs are really fibrous," and we know that they're
Yeah,
that
they don't know.
we
Yeah.
don't know.
They're
we
all
don't know.
different.
So
Aren't
they're
they
checking
looking
it all
for?
out.
They're looking for like a tumor or cancer,
Yeah,
right?
they're looking for anything that's not of the ordinary.
I'm
in
sure
there.
there's things that could show up and they're like, this isn't good no matter what. There's not, you know what I'm saying? And they probably still
Sure.
would do.
They would
more
do a
informa-
yeah.
But then there's that kind of gray area, like you're saying, where they don't know what to compare it to because they
Right.
haven't seen your
Yeah, and
boobs before.
my gynecologist says that is so the norm on your first one to
Yeah.
get called back just because they want to be sure, and I love that. I'd rather go in and have 3 mammograms if I had
It
to
does
make
make
sure.
you worried though when you get that. Like you rather just be clear.
Yes, I'd rather
Oh,
be
of
clear.
course,
Yeah,
of
right.
course, but nothing's
And
better
the
than
guys, like,
Yeah.
no offense, but does like Matt or Jared, if you like,
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
Men get breast cancer
yes,
too.
they do.
Yeah.
You
Men
don't have
do.
to. You don't have to have boobs as a man to get it.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think that
It makes it easier to squeeze in the machine, though.
Do you
Yeah.
guys? Yeah, true.
I'll go
It
if you want
does.
me to go.
It doesn't hurt though. But I think that's a big. People always complain about how badly it
Yeah.
hurts.
well, I think
It's
if you
not.
have like, it depends on your boob size.
I don't know. I almost feel like when they're smaller, it's like really
'Cause it's like-
figuring
But you're
out
not
a way to get them in
squishing
there.
anything.
Yeah, they are. It's
Are
squishing.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's squishing. But it doesn't. My point is, I went in thinking from years of people talking about how badly it hurts. I was going in thinking,
Ready to,
oh
for
my
a lot
gosh,
of pain.
yeah. It wasn't that bad.
Not
I
that
mean,
bad.
it was. It's uncomfortable for half of a second, and then it's over.
So you
But-
like the fact that you got this scan and they want to
Yeah.
do it again now. Would either of anybody here want to do this? And they do have this now. You have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But if there's something there, then your insurance kicks in. It's a full body scan. You have to go to Raleigh,
Yes.
I believe, for
100%. Yep.
full body scan that would detect any type of tumor, any type of cancer, something wrong with your heart.
Yes.
And they do.
Yes.
They don't offer this. Your regular doctor. You
They
have to,
should.
Yeah, it's like what, $1,500. You can get it done. A lot of people get nervous. They just don't want to know. But if you do catch things in advance,
Yeah.
so what I understand is you have to pay the $1,500. If they do see something, then your insurance would kick in for that because it did detect a problem.
Then if
I-
you're like really cheap, you're like,
Yeah.
man, I hope I got something.
Oh gosh, no.
Well, no. I'm not one of those people that says I'd rather not know. I would rather know and then figure out all the ways.
To fix it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So why don't we get that done besides the $1,500?
That's the reason that would be
That's
stopping
why.
me.
Yeah, that would.
But think about this: $1,500 could also save your life.
It could.
If you have it, if you just have $1,500 floating around.
I might
Well,
save
no,
up for
It
it.
might be something instead of eating out all the time. It might be something that
No, you'd
people
have
should
to plan
actually
for it.
seriously
Yeah.
start saving for.
I didn't
Or
know it was
doctors should start
available.
offering once a year.
Yes.
That should
That'd
be
awesome.
automatic.
Yes.
I mean, that'd be such preventative. It seemed like it would save, not to get
Save
boring,
money.
but the healthcare system big time.
Yeah. Which I think is also
Maybe it's coming.
it was
You know,
the whole body scan. I didn't even know that was available.
There, I know there's a place in Raleigh. There might be a place around here. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
you can go in there, and it's literally, I guess, similar to a mammogram for the boobs, or at least some kind. What is it? An MRI for the whole entire body.
body,
It's a
yeah.
whole body, and it looks for everything, all the way from your brain
yes.
to your stomach to
To
anything.
your feet.
yeah, I have a friend that because something happened with his brother, totally unexpected with a heart attack, and he was very young and in pretty good shape. That he can go in and there's a heart test you can do that will specifically show like how blocked up you are,
Oh yeah.
and it's
Dang.
apparently not that expensive.
Put like the dye and
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think so, but I was like, I kind of want to do that.
yeah. Well, because people die of the widowmaker all the time, or
Yeah,
by widowmaker,
Yeah.
and you have no idea.
No, you don't.
What's the widowmaker?
It's basically where isn't it like one ventricle of your heart is completely blocked, and
Oh.
it's the
Your
one
artery,
that's
yeah.
like yeah.
Well,
And if it's that one, you die.
Yeah.
I went when I was at the doctor one time, and you know how wound up I am and always tense, right?
Yeah.
I go to the doctor, I lay down for my yearly checkup. The nurse comes in and she's like, "Oh wow." I'm like, "What?"
Wow. What?
She goes, "Your pulse."
Oh.
She's like, "It's extremely low." I'm like, "Is that a bad thing?" And she's like, "Are you a marathon runner?" I'm like, "No." And she's like, "I've never seen a pulse this low before." I'm like, "Well, are you new? How long have you been working here?" 13 years. I'm like, 13 years? You're telling me this now? I'm the most wound up person. You're telling me my pulse.
Call Forbes and Dick right away.
It wasn't that far off, maybe, Jared. So I was like, okay, well, I'm a little bit nervous now. I'm like, how much? What is it? And she's like, 39 or 38.
38.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
That is low.
So
That's
I
mine
got
every 10 seconds.
Yes. Like
So-
my average is like 68.
Yeah.
Just sitting
Dang.
here.
Well, 68 is not terrible for a female, I
What?
believe.
30 what?
It was like 38, 39 at the time.
It's half
Maybe
dead.
she counted wrong. So I
Yeah.
was like, all right, redo the thing. And so the doctor comes in this time, and it's like 45. He's like, all right, we're going to recommend you to a is it a cardiologist
For your
that
heart?
does they do some kind of major test, because basically what they fear is it's called bronchitis. I forgot the terminology. It's bronchitis. Well, you actually would need a pacemaker because your heart rate's getting
Oh
too
my
low.
gosh.
Goodness.
Right? And my dad's heart rate is very low too. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm stressed. We go into and they put dye in me and put me on this machine. And then they showed me the video of my heart. I almost passed out. Seriously, if one thing goes wrong and it's all working in conjunction with
Oh, yeah,
each
it's a
other,
miracle.
one thing goes wrong, it's like, you're dead. I'm like, this is just happening. And that's the test we use. One little flaps are flying all over the place. He said it was okay for now.
All right. For now.
Jason's the only one that goes to the doctor and they're like, you need your heart rate up. Everyone else is like, we got to give you medication, get your heart rate
Yes.
down.
Things
Well,
down.
the
Yeah.
blood pressure is different, though.
Yeah,
you know?
Oh.
sure. It's the pressure on the,
I do know about that. But I was going to say that was one of the things that I loved about, I do love about my gynecologist. She's just like, you know what? Let's get this handled
Yeah, that's
right
probably the
now.
right
Did you
call.
get
And
naked
so-
again for the next test?
Yeah, so as soon as I'm finished with the mammogram, then I put my clothes back on, and then I walk down the hall, and then take my clothes back off, and then you're
So
the
you
whole-
you went into your gynecologist
yes,
dressed,
Yep.
got undressed,
Uh-huh.
got dressed again,
Uh-huh.
got undressed,
Yes.
got dressed again,
Yep.
then got undressed,
yep,
and then got dressed again.
Sounds like a
Yes.
Wow.
porno.
Jeez, yeah.
I was so sweaty by the time I left. It's like, oh god.
Your clothes are like, what are you doing? Stop. Leave me
But
alone.
I'll let you know the results of the mammogram and the pap smear when it all
You don't
comes
seem too
in.
worried.
I-
Well, that's good, though. You've already had one.
Yeah, mammogram.
Yeah.
This is technically my third mammogram because of the redo, and then pap smears all my life. Every 3, and then we're good. Knock on wood.
It's hard being a guy having to hear about this.
Seriously.
Jason, what about you? Said your wife had to go back twice. She's all right.
Yeah, they believe it's she has to go back again to compare it again.
Oh, okay.
But they believe it's like tissue that
Scarred.
became scarred and stuff like that.
From the surgery.
From the surgery, the breast implant surgery. So I think
Yeah.
it's even more common if you have breast implants.
The having to go back.
Yes, because of the tissue gets. And they might do breast
Sure.
implants different now. I mean, they did hers good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
They're
can't.
perfectly round.
Jason here for Carol's breast implants.
I mean, I don't see where they went in at or anything. I don't see any scarring.
Oh, really?
They
Wow.
did hers good.
You should do endorsements for breast
really
implants. Anyone should. It should be you.
And he's talking to Jason.
Does
not
your
me.
husband
Jason, go.
have sore eyes? Make them a lot more easy.
Okay, maybe you should.
Are
Maybe
you looking
shouldn't.
for a husband? Here's a way to
No.
get one.
Yeah, there's
Neither one of you should be doing them.
Yeah.
Are you sick of wearing a bikini that's just flat chested?
yeah. There's a lot of copy points that can be had.
Sure.